even exists is because of the trains. And so the train depot has the original floor, which I think that's nuts. It caught on fire. I think that's why I find it so nuts. It's not that it's the original floor, it's that it's burned down twice. And
the floor's fine.
And the floor's fine. It's fine. They did say that there was that headless ghost that roamed the train depot, though. And she said that
used to be a caboose.
Yeah, she said that's from an accident of a train accident, and the caboose guy got his head chopped off.
Yeah, when the two trains collided.
Which I still want to know how that happened, but I think it's still a cool story.
It's a cool story.
So dude lost his head. Supposedly a headless guy roams the tracks outside the train depot.
I took lots of pictures over there. I didn't get nothing.
We got nothing. The creepiest house I thought was that Thad's. It was what it's called now.
Oh,
THAD. Yeah.
And there was like a confessional. Confessional wood.
Yeah,
from some church.
Yeah, she said it was built out of the confession boxes from an old church. And so I'm gonna have to do my history because she was talking about the Candyman killer.
Yeah, and that a lot of the homes were deconstructed and then the wood was repurposed.
And the only Candyman story that I knew of besides the movie, and that's obviously not it, was this guy poisoned his own kids and tried to say it was
I don't know.
I know that story, and they call him the Candyman, but I don't know if there's another one. I might not have heard that story yet. So I gotta look into it. Because, like I said, we haven't had time to process
really?
this. We just wanted to get this off of our chest before we forget
all the things.
But it sounds good.
Who knows? Maybe there needs to be a part 2.
Maybe there needs to be a part 2 where we go back and fact check.
Depends on how much effort we can give. Because we're pretty tired. We got home very late.
Oh my gosh. I didn't roll home till 11:20ish. I think that's what time we decided I texted you.
It was supposed to be a quote-unquote day trip.
Yeah.
But it was a travel.
It was a half a day almost. We left your house at 5, and we didn't get back till 11.
Mm-hmm. So we just went there for the tour and left.
Damn near half day. It's a quarter of a day. A quarter of our day. And then I had to get up early this morning and go do more shit. So it was just I didn't go to bed till midnight.
Damn
kids. The Gypsy Rose. That was that bed and breakfast. But it was, oh my gosh, it's like a store now, right? That's what it was?
Yeah, it was a little antique store, I think.
Yeah, and they said it burned down. And
the owner was running in and saving people and pulling them out of the burning building.
Yeah, she said she had lots of guests, I guess, staying with her when the building caught on fire. And so she rushed in and saved all the people, but she died in the process of saving everybody. So the only person who died in the fire was her. And so supposedly she hangs out there. They tried to turn it back into a bed and breakfast, I think Destiny said in the 80s. But guests were complaining because there was a burned floating woman above your bed at night, and guests apparently don't like that.
She was just trying to protect them.
Sure.
So
that's what we want.
I took tons of pictures and photos. I didn't catch nothing. But my sister took a couple of photos of this particular house, and she caught the creepiest figure I've ever seen in my life.
Well, so at first we were looking at it, and we were like, what, it was a wine bottle? That's where our minds go. But the more you zoomed into it, you were like, oh wait, no, there's a face in the bottom of it.
And we kept looking at other people's photos of that same window at the same time, trying to figure out, okay, what is in this window? Because all of mine were pitch black in that room. You couldn't see anything inside of the room in any of my photos.
Yeah. So my daughter's picture she caught. So we've decided now we think it's a bedpost.
We think there's a bedpost.
Because that could be a pillow hanging off the edge of it that's in the top part of it. Because there's the post above it, and then that looks like a pillow maybe hanging off the edge. But underneath that,
there's still a face.
Somebody is peeking up over the edge of the window. And it looks
it's 100% a face. There's not any denying the eyeballs.
No.
Peeking out.
Yeah, we've been going back and forth if it's a woman or a little boy. It's kind of toss up. But but it's definitely a face because in all the other pictures you can still kind of see the bedpost and stuff.
Yes.
But there is no face
under it.
Yeah, it's not happening in the other pictures. So we're pretty certain that we caught at least one apparition.
Yes.
And she didn't do nothing
and
except
it was
stare at us.
Extraordinarily clear.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't wait to post the pictures of that one because that one's pretty good. Yeah, she got a good picture. And my daughter was really upset because she only got one, like, weird photo. And she's like, I don't know if it's a reflection or whatever. So anyway, I didn't take any pictures. I just reported
I took tons of pictures and videos. I caught nothing.
I know. I'm so sorry.
It's fine. I just put the whole day together. It's fine.
So when we were talking about that bed and breakfast, though, Angie was so funny because she was like, yeah, apparently guests don't like, freaky things in the bedroom. And Angie goes, well, I mean, I like freaky things in the bedroom.
I don't think a little too much.
Yeah, I think it's a little too much. We were like, yeah, floating dead burned woman. Yeah, that would definitely be like
a mood killer.
That's gonna be a no for me. Just a no. Not into that kind of stuff. Then they were talking about the one. I'm gonna mispronounce this. I wrote it how I saw it spelled, but I know I'm gonna one she. And I kept thinking she was saying one cheese. Like every time she would talk, I thought Destiny was saying one cheese, but I think it's one she.
I don't remember.
One she.
Sure.
One she. I don't know. I'm not sure. Maybe it's a German name or Czechs. Like I was trying to think of like the area of like where we are in Texas and like where this name. It's a very unusual last name, but it's one she. WUNSCHE, I think. Anyway, I digress. It was a saloon and a brothel. Now it's just a saloon and restaurant. That's it.
Yeah.
She said they think that there's a spirit of the owner that hangs out there.
And that he, like, supervises.
Yeah. And supposedly it's, like, a very, like, upscale restaurant nowadays. But it's really cool. So it's, like, a double-decker. So you got the bottom, that when we were looking in the windows.
And it did burn down as well.
Oh, yeah. It burned down, too. FYI. Most of the buildings burned down. But not the original building. She said it was just the side piece. Its side piece had to be redone. But so the original building is, like, a house. And then off to the side was like a double-decker bar and saloon. Because they said the saloon was on the bottom and the brothel was on the second floor. And when it burned down, now I think it's still the saloon and the bar on the bottom. And I think it's the restaurant up top based on what it looked like.
Yeah.
We didn't go in. So don't hold us to that.
It looked pretty from the outside.
But Destiny said the food there is delicious. But she says it's definitely an upscale restaurant. So keep that in mind. We went to that bank. Well, it was a bank, but now it's an incense shop.
And the incense was pouring out.
Yeah, you could smell it walking up to the building.
It had absolute positive pressure. Yeah. Like it was pouring incense onto the street.
Yeah, like you were like, oh yeah, it's definitely incense.
Yes,
but it was kind of cool. So
they need to turn their AC off.
Something.
They're wasting air.
A very solid building, where she said there was no like actual insulation because it's just a brick, like the giant brick walls of like the old jail. Like they didn't refinish anything.
Yeah, it was a jail and then it was a bank, I think.
Yeah, and they built. You can see where they had the windows, like the bars in the windows. That was still there, but the bars aren't there. But where you could see where they attached them at the top and the bottom. So that was kind of. And there was a bullet hole.
Yes.
By the door, and they were like. She tells a really good story about how it could have been Bonnie and Clyde, but there's not, like...
Proof. It was a man and a woman, and they got away with $7,000.
And it was at the time Bonnie and Clyde were hitting Texas and making their way across. So
apparently the banker...
Yeah.
Held off 2 robberies within 2 years.
Yeah.
And he did such a good job that the townspeople decided to pay him a whole $1 a year to keep and protect the money of the town. And I said, wow, it's one heck of a side hustle.
Yeah, it is.
Whole $1.
He probably bought him a new pair of boots and outfit to go with it.
And she was taking a video of the inside of the place, and she said that there was a figure inside of an old rocking chair. And so she was knocking on the door and trying to get its attention and blah, blah. And I said, well, that's pretty rude of you. He's paid a whole $1 to do that job.
Like, don't interrupt him.
He's at work.
He's at work. Rude. It was a cool video she had, and you could definitely see
there was definitely
something
a dark
sitting in the
figure.
chair. And she was like, it's the only thing that's not lit up. Because in that time, because there's no lights in it when we went by, but that in her video, you can see, or picture, you could see the lights from the ceiling shining down. But there's nothing in that chair except blackness.
Yeah.
So that was
But you can see the
cool.
edge of the chair.
Yeah, you could see, it's definitely sitting in a chair. So that was kind of cool. She has really cool pictures. The last place we went, I think that was the place that I finally got the heebie-jeebies and I was ready to be done. That was the hanging tree where the judges lived.
And he hung people.
Yeah, he was
So basically,
nuts.
he was just a psychopath.
Yeah.
Who just wanted to kill people.
Yeah.
And
And did it as a judge.
yeah. And he just...
And they let him. That was the weird thing. They just let him. I mean, it's cool.
She said that they hypothesized something about him acting the way he did because of the flower being tainted with ergot.
Yeah, that he drank a lot of beer. And that his beer was probably tainted, and that causes like a schizophrenic type personality disorder because it eats at your brain.
Well, anyway,
We're gonna Google this.
Anyway,
we don't know.
The dude was a psychopath, and he was just a serial killer, in my opinion. But the barn that's original behind the home was also super creepy. Because there's a dark spirit that lives there and a light spirit that lives there. A young girl and then an older gentleman. And
Pretty
the older
sure.
gentleman was a dark figure.
Yeah. So that was creepy. We took a picture in front of it as far away as we could.
Yeah.
My daughter's
Do I
like,
have to
let's
turn
get
my
a
back to
picture.
this?
And we were like, I don't know.
Neither of us wanted to turn our back on that building.
I mean, I was cool all night until she was like, go stand in that dark corner. Like, I was even stomping in the ice house.
By the barn.
Trying to, talk to the basement. And everybody's like, can you stop stomping? And then I'm like, I'm just
Stir
trying to
up
see
something.
It. I'm like, I want something to happen. Like, I want to
You
see
stirred something up, and I walked into it.
Well, I can't help that. That's besides the point. You're missing the point of the story. It didn't happen to me, so we have to... We should go back and try again.
This is your competitive nature.
It is. I really wanted something to happen. But the hanging tree was pretty creepy. We stood under it and took pictures.
His bedroom where he slept was facing the tree where he hung them, and he only hung them after they died, which is the really...
That's the bizarrest part of
It's
all
like
of it.
he tortures them and kills them around town, and once they die, he goes and hangs them in this tree. After they're dead.
They said for at least 3 days, because he believed that it took 3 days for the spirits and demons or whatever to leave your body.
Ugh.
Yeah, that's what she was saying.
Psychopath.
Yeah, like, what? So he would kill him, and he'd drag him back to his house, hang him in the tree behind his house, by his bedroom window. You did not have AC in Texas back then, so what did you do? Slept with your window open, and you had a body hanging outside your window. Can you imagine how nasty that smelled? Can you imagine?
To a psychopath.
Apparently he thought it was cool. For 3 days, he'd smell dead people. He loved it.
Ugh.
But, so they say there's lots of activity around there.
But while we were there,
Mm-hmm.
the reason we named our clip we did was because as we're rounding the corner, she turns around and she goes, okay, now don't shit your pants. And we're all like, what? We've been with you for over an hour. We have committed relationships with you now.
Yeah.
We're on a journey
We're
together.
BFFs.
You are our leader. And you just turn around and say, don't shit your pants.
I was like, oh God, we're gonna die. And it was because she said there's usually, a Halloween decoration in a window?
A skeleton in a window that's super nasty looking.
Yeah. It wasn't there. So we did not shit our pants. But she said she has almost done so several times because she forgets that it's there. So she thought, well, I'll just start reminding people about it, and then I'll remember, and we can all not shit our pants together.
And she said she did have a lot of really interesting interactions there with spirits.
Yeah, her pictures were pretty cool. She had ropes hanging from the tree.
Yeah.
And there's definitely no ropes hanging from that
And she
tree.
had a set of boots that were walking up to her.
Oh, yeah, she told a story about... So, important side note, there's cats everywhere.
Everywhere.
Like, literally everywhere. And so you're walking and cats walk past you. They walk across the street in front of you. Like, they're just fucking everywhere. And they will not come and let me pet them. So I've been really disappointed that I could not pet any of the damn cats. But she said that she's giving a tour and she sees something like walking up to her. She thinks it's a cat. And so she finishes her story and bends down to pet the kitty cat. And there's no kitty cat.
Just a set of boots that walk